Hello YouTube, welcome back. This is week 3 of my little running training plan, day 2, Tuesday. So I just want to talk a little bit about the first 2 weeks, how that's going, and then what's happening this week. And I made a new target, a new goal, doing a new challenge, trying to complete it for October is my challenge, and possibly the end of the year for the goal. Right, so from the last video, I said I was going to do some running. I said I was going to do some turbo trainer cycling and some gym sessions. So week 1, what I did was, because I'd work on a few of the days, I did 4 days of running. And it's like my first run since March or April or May. So it's not like I'm an experienced runner. This is like getting back into it. So on week 1, I did a few little test runs. I wanted to know how fast I can go, just so I can get like a pacing strategy and look at heart rate. And also on my Garmin I can see strides per minute. You can see my heart rate and my heart rate zones, and then you can see your average pace and your pacing zones. So the more figures I've got to work with, the easier it'll be. It sounds more complicated if you don't understand the figures and things, but when you log things down, you start to notice a pattern over a few weeks. So what I wanted to do was, on day 1, week 1, I wanted to do a fitness test, which the old fitness test we used to do in the army was a 1.5 mile run after a warm-up. It's usually like a few laps around the gym and a few gentle stretches, and then it was off you go. Depending on what the course was, if I can remember, the very first fitness test I did to get into the army was, I can't remember exactly the course, but it's some sort of loop track around Lichfield. Then I was at Harrogate for a year, and the track there was, you started off at the gym, you'd run pretty much like a straight line road down. I remember it was to the sergeant's mess. There used to be a little manhole on the floor. You used to go round the manhole and then back up. So then you'd see your friends going the wrong way and you'd be coming back up. So you could sort of pace how far you were, because you could see the person at the turnaround point who was in the lead, and then you know how far ahead he was. And then you go back to the gym. And the second camp I went to, we didn't really do a 1.5 mile run there. We did further runs. I remember we did a 2 mile run there. It was from the gym down a steep hill, round the bottom, and then back up. But you get so much speed on the way down that even though it's slow on the way back up, you at the finish line, you put all your effort in and you get quite a good time. The next camp I went to, I can't remember the track. But basically, it depends where you are. Some tracks are out and back. Some tracks might be a loop. So it depends on your race pace strategies. But I think the new fitness test I've heard is a 2 kilometre run, not a 1.5 kilometre run. And it used to be, like I said in the last video, pass or fail. Then they changed it to green, amber, red, like good. Yeah, amber means a bit of work needs doing, and red means immediate work needs doing. But now I think it's just, oh yeah, and also there used to be age categories as well. So every couple of years, as you get older, if you get into an age bracket, you get an extra minute. So for 37 years old, obviously now I get more time than what I would have done when I was 17. And it's all job related as well. So depending on what trade or what regiment you join would be different times. But now I've heard there is different times for different branches of the army, but age is just the same. And then instead of having the green, amber, red, I think it looks like 10 or so different time zones. And again, I don't know how they rate it or how they rank it, but I got a sort of a figure in my mind what I wanted to do from what I used to do and what I thought back in the day was a good time and what everyone thinks a fit person should have. So I set off on a 2 kilometre run. A bit of a there's a bit of a problem in my running. Well, to start with, I didn't do a warm-up. So I started the 2 kilometers from my house. And I set off down the street. And then where the turnaround point was, which I measured on Garmin, when I got there, there was some road maintenance guys there. So I had to turn around a little bit short. So then as I turned around, my Garmin was saying I'm off track, I'm off route. So the pacing strategy was slightly off. So I had to run a little bit, when I turned around, I had to run a little bit further than what I thought was the 2 kilometer mark. But again, on my watch, I use imperial, not metric. So I use miles, not kilometers. So 2,000 meters or 2 kilometers. I was trying to work out what that is in miles. And then when I thought I'd crossed the 2 kilometer point, I thought, I might as well keep going. I did 1.5 miles. But when I looked at my heart rate and my speed and my cadence and things, the last few hundred meters are slowed down. But I think I know why that is, because I have to run past a shop. And when you run past this shop, you've also got to slow down. I think there was somebody there, and because of COVID, I wanted to jump onto the road and go around them, give them some space. And then I slowed right down where the 1.5 mile finishing line was, because there's a zebra crossing and a dead end. So I think I was, no excuses, I was knackered anyway. I think I set off too fast, but it was a challenge of just getting a time, seeing what I can do, what my heart rate is. And then what I did, because a 1.5 mile, 2 kilometer run isn't really it's not really like a fitness session. It's just I had that mark, so I pressed stop, saved that on my Garmin, got that piece of data, and then what I did was another 3 and a bit miles, just so I did a good session. I did a 5 mile run altogether. Bit slow on the second half. You go out the village, up a hill. I turned around, I tried to work out in my head the maths of how much further I had to go to make it 5 miles back home with the turnaround. So I did 5 miles. Day 2, I did a 10k run. So I know on my Garmin where 6 miles is, because I work in Imperial, but it's a little bit short of 10k. So instead of doing 6 miles, you've got to do 6.1 or 6.2 miles to make it 10k. So I actually did 6.3 because I want to go a little bit further. You don't want to press stop, get home, press pause, save your data and find out you're a few meters short. So it's always best to go a little bit further than what the target is, and then you don't waste your data. So I did a 6.3 mile run. I think I had a new 10k best, but it is on an uphill, so it's a bit slow in the up. It was a hot sunny day as well, so I was sweating loads, and then it's downhill. So you could call it cheating because you're going downhill, but you've had to go slow to go up anyway, so that sort of balances out surely. The next day, day 3, I did a 4 mile run because I think my legs were hurting a bit too much to do another 6. I've got a 6 in the bag. I had a 2 in the bag, so I thought I'd do a 4. See if I can go a bit faster. So I just did the same again, up a hill, turn around at 2 miles and back. And then the 4th day, well, I'd done a fast 2, I'd done a fast 4, I'd done a fast 6. So I don't know why, I had it in my mind, I wanted to just do a fun little run. Not fun, but something different. I was thinking about getting in my car and driving to a forest or something a bit different. But in the end, something happened on that day, Thursday. I think I had a visitor at the door, so I was a bit delayed on the time. So I set off from my house, and I know there's 2 roads which run like parallel to each other. But they go different directions. One turns off right, one turns off left. But I know there's a little joining road which is mega steep. So I thought just for a challenge I'll do that, see how I compare up the hill. And I didn't walk it. I managed to run all the way up. I think I was doing something like 11 or 12 minute miles. It's only a short half a mile. No, not a mile. But it was mega steep. You know, I've done it once on my bike, my mountain bike, and it is steep. Week number 2. So after week number 1, I did 21.8 or 22 miles. And then I read I just had a running book in my house I've managed to find when I was looking for something else. And I saw on a half marathon and a marathon training plan something about 2 miles increase every week. Well, week number 2 would have been 24 miles, but I actually did 25 point and a bit. So what I did was I did sort of the same as the week 1, but I tried to go a bit further. So I did a 7 mile, an 8.25, and then my legs were hurting, so next day I did a 3, and then I did another 7. One of the runs was a 6 mile down a canal. The only thing is, it was raining when I started on one of the runs, and then I put a jacket on. But then, actually, I tell a lie. One of the runs was raining the whole way. I got absolutely soaked. But I thought, well, instead of doing 4 miles in the rain, you might as well do 8. Once you're wet, you're wet. So I got absolutely soaked. Gloves were wringing wet, socks were absolutely soaked. I had a black windproof jacket on. And it's not waterproof at all. I was absolutely soaked, but I wasn't too bad. I wasn't cold. So the next day when I went for a 7 mile run, it rained. So I thought I put on a different jacket. I got a cheaper cycling jacket. It's big and the wind catches it. And it turned out it didn't even rain very much. And I was still soaked on the inside just from sweating. Because from experiencing the first run, I thought if I'm wet, I'll be cold. So I put on it's a long sleeve base layer, but it's probably not cold enough for that. It's probably a winter base layer really. So I was sweating and the jacket's not breathable. So I got a bit of a slow crap time. So this week number 3, started off afresh because I've had 3 days rest. I've had a bit of carbs. So yesterday what I did was I had a bagel with some peanut butter on one half and some jam on the other half. So I got some carbs, some sugary carbs, and then I got some fats. I made sure I had some liquids before I went for the run. I had some caffeine tablet and some electrolyte tablets. So I should have been feeling quite good. Legs obviously fresh from having a few days rest. And I only set out to do a 9 mile run because I wanted to beat my 8.25. So a little bit at a time, but I actually went out and did 11. Because what I did was I went out for the 9. And then I thought when I get back, I might as well top it up to 10. And then I had a bit of time to spare. I thought, I feel good. I'll keep going. I did 11. But then the only reason why I stopped at 11 is because I had something to do. So I ran out of time. But I was thinking about doing a half marathon, a 13, just like that, in week 3. So that's one of my medium goals. I'll do 13 in the next couple of weeks, possibly by the end of October. But that's caught up with what I'm at so far. So this week I need to do 27 miles. So it's 2 up from last week's 25. Here's the thing though. As well as doing 2 miles extra each week, now as well as doing, I'm aiming for that half marathon because I've never done a half marathon before. I've also entered the little challenge on, what's it called now? Race at Your Pace. I've done them before on the bike when I've done 100 mile, 200 mile or 600 mile. But I've never done a running one before. So you get your medal, you get your t-shirt. Like I said before in another post, I don't really do races to get free medals because you got to pay for this. The Race at Your Pace, I think you got to pay, it's roughly £10. But when you complete it, you get a bit of paper, it's your certificate, you actually write your miles on yourself. You get your medal, which just says you've done it. I'm not really after the medal, but you do get a t-shirt. And in the winter, it's a long sleeve t-shirt. And I've got a red one, a blue one, a black one, a grey one. I might have a few more as well. But they're pretty good t-shirts. For £10, they're cheaper and they're just as good quality as a top of the range compression top. So I've entered it pretty much just to keep me on track, just to make sure I do get my miles in, but also for the t-shirt. £10, I buy it for £10. But you get a medal and a certificate as well. Only thing is though, if I work out, I've gone for the 100-mile challenge. Now if I work out 100 miles in all of October, that's easy. But I got work on, I'm working on 7 of the days, because I've got days off and things. I've booked some holidays. I'm working on 7 of the days, and I don't really want to do many miles on a weekend, because it's the weekend. I'm going to try and fit my rest days in the weekend. So really, that leaves the days in the week. And I'm working 5 of the days of the week. So that only leaves me with like 15 days, I think it is, that I can go running. So it averages out about 8 or 9 miles per day. But thinking though, I've done this before on other challenges. When it comes to the end of the month, if you pick up an injury or your legs are tired or you miss a day, that 9 miles soon becomes 10, soon becomes 11. And 11 is my maximum run anyway. So I don't really want to be getting behind on myself. I want to get ahead. So if I did manage to do a weekend run, that brings down the average down to something like 5 or 6 miles per day, which is quite good. But if I want to get ahead of myself, just in case one day I fancy doing a 3-mile run, well then I'm not going to be stuck. Possibly what I could do is, if I fancy a 3-mile run, do that as early as possible in my free time, and then later on the day maybe do another 3-mile run, just a gentle jog, because 3 and 3 is going to be quite easy. So yesterday's 11.3 miles was my furthest ever run. I remember years ago, it wasn't a run, it was tabbing in the army when you got your boots on and your rucksack on. I know I've done a 10-mile tab, but that was with, you got your breaks probably every 2 or 3 miles. And that's walk, jog. I think I did a half marathon almost, but I didn't have a Strava or Garmin back in them days. So in about 2002, I remember I was at one training camp and 2 blokes were training for a marathon, I think. So they dragged us all along on a long run, and it would have been a couple of hours. I remember it was quite far. Could have been 10, could have been 12. I can't remember. So officially 11 miles is my furthest run. Definitely furthest by myself, and definitely furthest this year. I might have marched 13 miles, but I definitely haven't gone out shorts and t-shirt by myself for half a marathon, and no way have I done a full marathon. Possibly marched over a couple of days, on a certain competitions and things, but I haven't ran a marathon, definitely not. So I'm excited about, in the next couple of weeks, reaching the half marathon, because I know some people do train for years and years and years for this. I know I'm not coming from a complete overweight novice or beginner. I have got a good background of general fitness. I have been doing a lot of turbo trainer sessions this year, so my heart rate is where it should be. But it's different, isn't it? Because I was a bodybuilder. I was 242 pounds. And then I've done a lot of cycling in the last 3 years, which is just spinning the legs. It is different. And now it's coming up to winter, so it's going to be wet and windy. But I'm hoping to get a half marathon in the next couple of weeks. And then possibly, maybe a marathon before the end of the year by myself. Because I've managed to do 11 miles just like that. I reckon I could have done 13 yesterday. And that's without any walking, without any stops. Like in a normal running race, they'd have a water bottle and a energy drink or whatever they give on the side of the road these days. And also you got the motivation of the crowd and people with you. That was by myself. So I reckon I could do 13 now. So in the next couple of weeks, if I push the miles up, possibly a marathon, 26 miles in the next, well, depends how long I keep this running up. My goal might change soon. So that's what I've done the last couple of weeks. That's what I'm going to do the next couple of weeks. Today, I've just plotted I'm going to do another 6 mile run. So like I said before, I'm going to do 10k, so 6.3 miles. I'm going to do the same course I did on week 1. What did I do? I said I did do it last time last time was a record. I did it in 54 minutes 42. So today, and I was at 8.41 minute miles. So today I'm going to do an 8.39 minute miles. Not a lot different, but that brings it down to 53.55. So almost a minute quicker. That's a goal, but obviously I'm going to try and be ahead of the pace. So when I'm running, I'm going to try and be ahead of my race pace on my Garmin. If I go too fast, just back it off a little bit on the first half, because it's an out and back. And then on the way back, hopefully I should have saved some energy, and I'll give it some. Each mile I'll go faster until I get, hopefully, shave off a few minutes off that time. Okay, I'm going to get ready now. I'm going to go for my run. I've given you a brief description of what I'm going to do for my challenge and my goal. So stay tuned. I'll try and do a bit more frequent updates, letting you know how my miles are going on. I have got it all written down on a piece of paper where I've got my distance. I'm going to keep track of my sleep, making sure I get longer sleep and better sleeping pattern. Because if I'm only getting 4 hours sleep a night, and I do a late turbo trainer session, well, that means that my heart rate is never rested. So my average rest and heart rate is going to be, I reckon, it's quite high. But at the moment, it's about 43 beats per minute average for the year. But it does go down to 36 beats per minute if I go to sleep. So if I can get my sleep down to 8 hours a night instead of 6 hours a night, surely then I'll rest in for longer. So my average rest and heart rate will be better. I'm going to see if I can get my heart rate. Well, I can't change it, but I'm thinking if I rest, sleep more, don't do any exercises late at night, have a good rest from midnight till 6 or 7 in the morning, or even like start to relax from 9 p.m. until 6 in the morning, then I reckon my average heart rate will reduce. So getting a better routine. I'm going to record the time and the speed of my runs. I'm going to record the steps I do each day. So as well as the 10, 20,000 steps I do in the run, record the average steps in the day anyway, get them up. And then my calories. So I'm going to try and work out my diet based off my active calories and my total calories a day. Not just guessing my BMR or guessing my calories. I'm going to work out exactly how many I've used and then only have that much. And then keep track of my weight. Obviously, the lighter I am, the faster I'm going to be. Less weight got to carry. So I got it all tracked. Subscribe to my channel. Keep watching these videos. They will start to take shape, and hopefully I'll get better and better and better. Faster, some more PRs, and should see some goals and some good information to show you. Next video, I should stick on some pictures. I'll show some nice graphs when I got a few more days worth of data. So, you know, heart rates, distances, and things like that, progressions. Okay, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and I'm off now to do that 6 miles one. See you later.